breaking into cars. So.
Well, I'm recording this interaction.
That's fine.
All right. We haven't broken in any cars. We're just walking.
I don't know that yet. So I need to get your name so that way, if something does happen, you can take your name out and say you haven't done anything wrong, and that's the end of it.
All right, I guess I'll go first.
All right, what's your name?
Matthew Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn.
And your date of birth?
June 16th, 1995.
What about you, sir?
I'd rather not give my name.
Here's what we can do. If you don't consider you're out at night at a time and place where you're not supposed to be at on the normal given time, most people aren't out here walking at night, what I can do is either A, take you down to the station, fingerprint you, find out who you are, make sure you're not a wanted murderer from Iowa or something to that effect, or I can get you for loitering and prowling.
How am I loitering?
Because you're at a place you're not supposed to be.
Isn't this...
You're being furtive to my motions, you're not giving a reasonable explanation as to why you're out.
This is a public area.
Yeah, it's public space. And we're walking...
It's just a name, just so I can get away if something does happen, know where you're at, and so that way I can make sure that you're actually supposed to be walking around where you are, because you say you guys are out here where your house is. I don't know where you live. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you guys are actually telling the truth. So you give me your name, your date of birth, and the story.
What crime do you think I'm committing?
Right now, none, because you're going to give me your name, you'll let me know you're going back to your house, you guys are out walking around, and the story.
Am I required by law to give you my name?
That's where I told you we can take you down to the station, fingerprint you, and find out who you actually are. Because right now you're a John Doe. You're at a time and place where you're not supposed to be. Because you see anybody else out around here?
You're out here.
Exactly. Because I've got to make sure there's not bad people out here. Make sure you're not a bad person. You're not wanted for murder or something to that effect. You're not actually all doing something.
Do you think I'm wanted for murder?
I have no idea. You haven't told me your name yet.
Well, do you have suspicion I'm wanted of murder?
I don't know. You haven't told me your name yet.
Well, I mean, you have to have reasonable suspicion for...
No, I don't think he's wanted for murder. I don't know if you are or not yet.
Well, how is my name going to tell you whether or not I'm wanted for murder?
Because that's how we run people.
Well, I don't want to be run.
Yeah, you don't have an option on that one.
Well, what law am I breaking?
Let me explain this to you again. This is how loitering and prowling works. You are at a time and place you're not supposed to be. You are not giving me a reasonable explanation.
Why am I not supposed to be here?
Because you're at midnight. Most people are not walking out here at midnight.
Is there a law against being out here at midnight?
You are walking around at midnight. No one else is out here. There's no one else out here but you. There have been a rash of burglaries in the area. You have not given me any reasonable explanation as to why you are out here. If you give me your address and you guys say you're going back to your house, you live off Roscoe, that sounds reasonable.
We're walking towards Roscoe.
I've never seen you guys around out here.
I've never seen you before either.
Exactly. So how do I know you actually live around here?
How do I know you're a real... What's your name and badge number?
Deputy Self-Medal. My ID number is 3493.
All right.
I have a patrol car behind me. Mm-hmm. That's how you know I'm a police officer. I have a badge.
All right.
I don't know who you are. I need to make sure you are exactly who you say you are. So that way, in the morning when we have burglaries, I can either say, hey, whoever you are, get it or didn't do it.
All right. But under what county, state, or federal statute am I required to give you my name without reasonable suspicion of me breaking the law?
Reasonable suspicion is for the loitering and prowling. You're not giving me a reasonable explanation as to what you're out here for. You're being furtive to my questions. Part of the loitering and prowling statute is that you have to give me reason to believe that you are where you're supposed to be. You guys say you're out walking around? That sounds fine. I don't know your name. I don't know where you're living. I don't know if you're actually supposed to be out here walking around. That's the statute. I cannot give you the exact number off. I think can't actually give you the actual statute. But I can look it up for you once we get done with this if you wish. I can even show it to you. When we get on here, I'll show you what loitering and prowling is. We can take a look at it. And I'll show you why you're giving me suspicion for what you're doing.
All right.
So what's your name then?
John.
Okay.
Galt.
G-A-U-L-T?
G-A-L-T.
G-A-L-T?
Yes.
And your date of birth?
September 11th, 1991.
All right. You want to look up the loitering problem with me?
No.
You guys are going? All right.
I want to leave.
You guys have a good one then.
You too.
I gave you my name.
Your real name's John Gall.
Is it not?
I don't know.
Well, I just gave it to you.
Okay. 34 9 %. Do you normally have a driver's license? Like, are you going to be in any system or anything? You don't have a driver's license?
I mean, I might.
You're being difficult for no reason.
I'd rather leave.
1065, 1027, 1029, the name and date of birth.
It's the principle of the issue.
$34.93 cents. 65, 1027, 1029 of name and date of birth. John Galt, 9/11 and 91. G Golf A Alpha L Lima T Tango. So how long you guys lived around here?
I don't. I live elsewhere. I'm visiting.
Okay. Are you from out of state or around here?
I'm Ponte Vedra. Well, I guess this is Ponte Vedra. I'm more like Jacksonville.
To Jack's Beach area? I just curious. I've never seen either of you guys before.
Well, I listed as Ponte Vedra, but I'm by Nice High School, so
Oh, okay.
I don't go to Ponte Vedra.
I'm assuming you go to Nice then, or did.
I graduated, yeah.
Okay.
So are we free to leave?
I want to make sure you're actually John Galt. Have you ever read it, Atlas Shrugged?
Maybe.
It's just a question.
I'd really rather leave.
Yeah, I gotta make sure you're actually who you say you are.
Well, you told me I could give you a name and date of birth, and I did.
Your real name and date of birth. Simple. So I need your real name and date of birth.
How is walking in a public space loitering?
You wanna come read the statute with me?
We weren't on anyone's property.
We were
just walking on the road.
No, it's the fact that you guys were walking at a time and place where most people aren't. That's the first part of loitering and prowling. That gives me reasonable suspicion to check out.
The Shell station's open at this time.
But you're not at the Shell station.
We were walking from that direction.
I didn't know that. You told me you guys were walking back to your house and you guys were just out walking. Now, you're starting to give me different explanations for what you're doing.
No, I said we were walking from point A to point B.
Which is not with the Shell station. You gotta help me out a little bit so make your life a little bit easier. If you told me your real name and date of birth, and you'd said, hey, we're walking from the Shell station back to my house. You guys have been on your way home, and you guys would probably be at home by now.
We were being peaceful walking. RA, we were headed in this direction. We were headed towards Roscoe. We just want to leave. And
Let me explain the loitering and prowling section to you one more time.
All right.
You got a time and place that is not where normal people are, which is midnight. Do you see anybody else walking around? Does this seem like a normal time which people should be walking around? Have you ever seen anybody else walking around here at midnight?
Yeah.
Do you see anybody else right now?
No.
Okay.
It's just the three of us right now.
Exactly. So therefore, then you're at a time which is midnight.
Is there a curfew? I mean,
it gives me the reasonable suspicion to actually make sure you're out where you are. You say you are. Now the second part is you have to be reasonable belief that you're saying what you're doing, what you're supposed to be doing. You have not done that yet.
Well, what suspicion do you have that I'm doing anything wrong?
Because you won't give me your name, you won't give me your date of birth.
How is that suspicion I've committed a crime?
No, that is the crime, is loitering and prowling. I'm giving you the elements of it.
Oh, it's prowling if you're on somebody's property. We're not on anybody's property.
Well, I'm explaining it to you. The loitering and prowling comes at a time when you're not supposed to be, at a time when you're not supposed to be. That gives me the suspicion to stop out with you. The second part is, you have to give me what you're doing, and you have to give me a reasonable belief that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You have not given me your proper name and date of birth. You have not given me what you're actually doing, because you told two different stories now. So now,
I've been giving you two different.
You just didn't ask for all the details. You said, what are you doing?
We're walking towards Roscoe to leave Landrum Lane.
Okay.
That's,
so what's your name and date of birth, and then I'll be out of your hair.
Why?
Your real name and date of birth.
I don't get why you need our names, though. I mean, you've seen us.
To make sure you are who you say you are. Because I have no idea who you are. This is where it comes in with, you could be anybody here, and if something does come up in the morning, we need to be able to know what you're doing. And this is where it starts to make me believe that maybe you guys are doing something suspicious, because you won't give me your name and date of birth. You give me your name
My
and date
privacy
of birth,
does not justify a suspicion of a crime, though.
Well, did you run my name? You can run
I
my
have
name.
not yet,
I
because you
haven't.
give them everything, and I have no reason to run it right now.
Okay.
Well, how do
All
you-
it is that way then, if let's say something comes up in the morning, I can say, hey, I checked out with, and I already forgot your name, Mr. Lynn. And say, hey, I checked out with Mr. Lynn last night at this time and this date. They say, okay, well, he lives over in this area. He was at checked out with him. They were coming back from Lander Lane. End of story.
Okay.
You, however, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you're going. I don't even know if you guys actually live off Roscoe. Do you understand where I'm going with this now? You have given me no reason to believe anything that you've told me.
There's no reason that you need to know where I live. I mean, that's not...
Yes, it does, because that falls under the loitering and prowling statute. You have to give me reasonable belief that you're doing what you're saying. If you live off Roscoe, and you say, hey, I'm walking from Lander Lane to Roscoe where my house is, now I know what you're doing. As of right now, I have no idea where you live. I have no idea who you are. You guys could be walking over to somewhere to go rob a place. I don't know.
You haven't ran my name yet?
I ran John Galt. I came back, no record found.
Well,
Not
run mine.
surprisingly.
Run mine. Nothing's...
Yours is fine. I still need his.
Well, if mine comes up negative, why would his come up with anything at all?
34.9%. 34.93 Jones. 6'5", 1027, 1029 by the name and date of birth. Because you may go back to his place. You may go to sleep. You may go out and do something.
I've tried to be polite and civil. I think it's my privacy to know my name. I'm not...
Matthew Lynn, L. Lima, Yankee, in November, 6/16 in 1995. Live at, so that away, I can at least alleviate a little bit of that.
What if I assure you that I'm not out here to commit any crimes? I have no plans of committing any
no idea how many
crimes.
times I've heard that from people who just broke into cars.
Oh, well, why don't I give you my address?
But that doesn't give me a reason why you guys are walking out here.
You said
you said you live off Roscoe, right?
I said I'm going to Roscoe.
Okay. Now we're starting to get a little bit weird.
No, it's not weird. You don't need to know where I live, and you have no right to know where I live. And I feel less comfortable knowing.
All right. Well, which house off Roscoe are you guys going to then?
I don't want to tell you. Going that way. I don't want you. I don't want my address. We're leaving. We're going down Landrum Lane. We just want to leave. I'd rather not my address be put into...
It's not going anywhere. It's just to make sure you're going where you're supposed to be going. Or that you say you're going.
I'm not out here to commit any crimes. I haven't committed any crimes.
How do I know that?
You don't have any suspicion of me committing crimes.
Can I get some...